Welcome to a chapter a day. If your divine appointment is scheduled impacts you in any way, support our mission and subscribe. Now pause. Before we go any further, understand this. You were brought here for a purpose. Maybe it's to answer a question. Maybe it's to shift a thought. Maybe it's to reveal a path. What's most certain is that you're not here by accident. Not by algorithm. Not by coincidence. This is a divine appointment. There are moments in life when timelines shift. When the invisible architecture of your future rearranges itself because you became ready. This is one of those moments. If this book found you, it is because you are standing at the edge of a collapsing timeline, the old version of you dissolving, the future version of you pressing forward. You have been living inside a self-fulfilling prophecy, but not consciously. Your expectations have been writing your reality. Your assumptions have been scripting your outcomes. Your inner permission has been determining your ceiling. And today that changes. You are about to learn the language the universe actually speaks. Not English. Not words. Frequency. Assumption. Identity. You are about to discover that time is more flexible than you were taught. That fear is a threshold guardian, not an enemy. That the life you want is waiting for you to authorize it. Yes, authorize it. Because here is the truth most people never learn. You do not get what you want. You do not get what you deserve. You get what you give yourself permission to receive. This is true activation. If this book found you, it is because you are ready to collapse the old story, rewrite the prophecy, and step into the version of yourself that has been waiting beyond hesitation. This is your divine appointment. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Divine Appointment. Pause. This moment is precise. It is not random. It is not accidental. It is not casual. You are not here randomly. You are here responsively. In metaphysics, coincidences do not exist. Only synchronicities exist. What appears accidental is alignment. What appears ordinary is orchestration. When the student is ready, the signal appears. This is that signal. There are points in life where timelines converge, where who you have been meets who you are becoming, where readiness meets revelation. That convergence is called a divine appointment. A divine appointment does not arrive with fireworks. It arrives quietly. It looks like an ordinary day. An ordinary click, an ordinary conversation. Yet everything shifts from that point forward. You feel it as recognition. The true sign comes with peace and clarity. It feels like an aha. It is light. You are not here randomly. You are here responsively. Responsively means something within you answered a call. You may not have heard it in words. You felt it as restlessness, as dissatisfaction with repeating cycles, as a quiet knowing that you are meant for expansion. Readiness always precedes revelation. When the student is ready, the signal appears. Look back at your life. Notice the turning points. They rarely announce themselves as life-changing. They looked small. A delayed flight that led to a conversation. A book picked up during boredom. A job rejection that redirected your path entirely. At the time, they felt inconvenient. Later, they revealed themselves as precise. In metaphysics, coincidences do not exist. Only synchronicities exist. Synchronicity is intelligent timing. It is resonance meeting opportunity. It is your internal frequency attracting the exact catalyst required for your next evolution. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. This chapter is not about fate controlling you. It is about resonance guiding you. Your inner state is a magnet. When it shifts, your encounters shift. Consider the reticular activating system, the filter in your brain that decides what enters your awareness. When you decide to buy a red Model X, you suddenly see that red Model X everywhere. The cars were always there. Your filter simply tuned to that frequency. The same principle governs your life. When you become ready for growth, you begin to see teachers everywhere. Lessons everywhere. Opportunities everywhere. They were present before. Now you are tuned to them. You are not here randomly. You are here responsively. Responsiveness is power. It means you are participating in your unfolding. It means you are no longer drifting unconsciously. It means you are selecting your next level. There is a difference between information and activation. Information passes through you. Activation rearranges you. A divine appointment rearranges you. Sometimes it comes disguised as challenge. A difficult relationship enters your life. You call it bad luck. Yet it mirrors an insecurity you were ready to heal. It is a weight trainer in human form. The trainer adds resistance. Muscles grow under resistance. Without resistance, there is no expansion. If you did not understand the purpose of the trainer, you would think they were punishing you. When you understand the design, you recognize the strengthening. Life functions the same way. In metaphysics, coincidences do not exist. Only synchronicities exist. You meet the exact people who reflect your current vibration. If abandonment is active within you, partners appear who mirror that wound. Not as punishment, as reflection. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. This is empowering, because what you are can evolve. Imagine someone who quietly believes they are abandonable. They do not announce it. They simply feel it. That frequency communicates beneath words. By resonance, they attract partners who confirm it. The universe places a mirror of their vibration in front of them. The mirror is not the enemy. The mirror is the revelation. You must learn to ignore the current reflection while you create the new one. Scrubbing the mirror does nothing if the face remains unchanged. If there is coal on your face and you furiously polish the glass, the stain remains. When you wash your face, the reflection shifts instantly. The quantum mirror never lies. A divine appointment often arrives as the moment you realize you have been scrubbing the mirror. You see that arguing with a partner does not create security. Changing your self-concept does. Working more hours does not dissolve scarcity if scarcity lives internally. The external shifts when the internal stabilizes. You are not here randomly. You are here responsively. Responsively means you sensed it was time to wash the face instead of polish the glass. There are no wasted encounters. There are only unrecognized lessons. The universe is a precise pedagogical school. If you do not learn the lesson, the course repeats. A controlling father becomes a controlling boss. The boss becomes a controlling partner. The pattern continues until awareness interrupts it. When awareness arrives, repetition ends. That interruption is a divine appointment. When the student is ready, the signal appears. Notice something powerful. Readiness is not struggle. Readiness is saturation. It is the moment you have experienced enough of the old pattern that you are available for the new one. You reached saturation. That is why you are here. The manifestation is inevitable if the frequency is held with unwavering faith. But faith begins with recognition. Recognition that this moment is meaningful. Recognition that your arrival here marks a shift. The true sign comes with peace and clarity. It feels like an aha. It is light. Feel the lightness of understanding that your life has never been random. Even your detours were directional. Even your delays were developmental. You are guided by resonance. From today on, you are forbidden to use I am negatively. The words that follow, I am, instruct your subconscious. They script your prophecy. I am exhausted. I am unlucky. I am bad at relationships. These are not descriptions. They are declarations. The self-fulfilling prophecy is always active. If you say, this job gives me a headache, the subconscious hears command. It generates tension. It produces proof. It fulfills the prophecy. Language is frequency. Frequency becomes experience. A divine appointment often begins with a linguistic shift. I am evolving. I am expanding. I am aligned. These are instructions to your internal projector. Reality is a movie screen. If a monster appears on screen, you do not attack the screen. You check the film in the projector. Your beliefs are the film. Your subconscious is the projector. The world is the screen. Change the film. The image changes. You must learn to ignore the current reflection while you create the new one. This is calm work. Certain work. Present tense work. You are not fixing a broken life. You are refining a responsive one. The divine appointment is the recognition that you are in dialogue with existence. You think. Reality answers. You assume. Life confirms. You shift. The world reorganizes. In metaphysics, coincidences do not exist. Only synchronicities exist. You are not here randomly. You are here responsively. Responsively means you answered readiness with action. You pressed play. You leaned in. You chose awareness. This chapter is the doorway. A doorway is not the destination. It is the entry point. Stepping through it requires decision. Decision to observe patterns instead of blaming circumstances. Decision to adjust identity instead of forcing outcomes. Decision to see every encounter as instructional rather than accidental. When the student is ready, the signal appears. You receive the signal. Now you respond deliberately. This is how transformation begins. Not with struggle, with recognition. You have recognized the appointment. You have recognized the orchestration. You have recognized that your presence here is precise. You are not here randomly. You are here responsively. Hold that truth. Because once you understand that your life is synchronized, you become curious about the mechanism behind synchronization. You begin to ask a deeper question. If my encounters are responsive, what law governs that response? You have stepped through the doorway. Now it is time to understand the force that arranges the meetings, the mirrors, and the moments. Chapter 2. The Self-Fulfilling Prophecy. There is a force operating in your life right now. It is quiet. It is consistent. It is obedient. It does not judge what you tell it. It does not argue with your declarations. It simply confirms them. This force is the self-fulfilling prophecy. What you assume, you experience. The subconscious mind is not creative in the way you think. It is constructive. It takes the blueprint of your dominant assumptions and builds outward evidence to match. It filters reality through belief. It edits perception to protect identity. You do not see the world as it is. You see the world as you assume it to be. What you assume, you experience. Imagine walking into a room believing you are unwelcome. No one has spoken yet. No one has acted yet. Yet your body tightens. Your shoulders close. Your voice lowers. Your eyes avoid contact. The room responds to that signal. People mirror your hesitation. Conversations bypass you. The prophecy fulfills itself. You say, I knew it. They don't like me. The mind smiles. Confirmation achieved. The subconscious filters out contradictory data. Compliments are dismissed. Neutral expressions are interpreted as disapproval. Friendly gestures are minimized. The reticular activating system performs its duty. It highlights what aligns with the assumption and hides what does not. What you assume, you experience. Consider the person who expects abandonment. They do not consciously desire it. They fear it. Yet fear is focused expectation. It is imagination rehearsed with emotion. They enter relationships guarded. They test loyalty. They anticipate withdrawal. Their partner feels mistrusted. Distance grows. Eventually, separation occurs. The individual concludes, people always leave. The prophecy was not predicted. It was projected. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. Assumption shapes behavior. Behavior shapes response. Response reinforces belief. The loop continues until awareness interrupts it. This is not punishment. It is precision. The subconscious seeks consistency over happiness. It prefers familiar discomfort to unfamiliar expansion. It will orchestrate outcomes that maintain identity stability. If you casually say, "This job gives me a headache," the mind listens. It connects work with pain. It generates tension before you even enter the building. The body obeys the script. Words are instructions. Declarations are blueprints. What you assume, you experience. Notice how easily people declare limitation. I am bad with money. I am unlucky in love. I am always overlooked. These are not harmless phrases. They are architectural commands. From today on, you are forbidden to use "I am" negatively. The subconscious does not process sarcasm. It does not recognize exaggeration. It receives identity statements as truth. If you state repeatedly that you are overwhelmed, your nervous system stabilizes in overwhelm. If you affirm capability, your perception reorganizes toward opportunity. This is law-based. The manifestation is inevitable if the frequency is held with unwavering faith. Faith is sustained assumption. Look at the athlete who assumes victory long before the competition. Their body trains differently. Their posture shifts. Their attention sharpens. Even setbacks are interpreted as preparation. Contrast this with the competitor who anticipates failure. Their muscles tighten under pressure. Small mistakes confirm internal doubt. Momentum collapses. Both outcomes are logical extensions of belief. What you assume, you experience. This principle operates in finances as well. If you assume money is scarce, you approach decisions defensively. You avoid calculated risks. You hesitate to invest in growth. Opportunities pass because they feel unsafe. Then you say, "There is never enough." The subconscious agrees and maintains the ceiling. It is like a thermostat set to a familiar temperature. If abundance exceeds that comfort zone, subtle self-sabotage activates. Unexpected expenses appear. Poor decisions slip in unnoticed. Balance returns to the known level. The prophecy preserves familiarity. To shift the outcome, you adjust the internal setting. You must learn to ignore the current reflection while you create the new one. If your bank account reflects scarcity, reacting emotionally reinforces scarcity. When you stabilize in the assumption of expansion, behavior changes calmly. Decisions align with growth. The mirror responds in time. The outer world is not the cause. It is the confirmation. The movie screen displays the film loaded into the projector. If a monster appears in the scene, you do not attack the screen. You replace the real. Your beliefs are the real. What you assume, you experience. There is immense freedom in this understanding. It means nothing is random. Every repeated outcome is revealing a repeated thought. Every persistent pattern is anchored in a persistent identity. Awareness dissolves repetition. When you catch yourself expecting dismissal, pause. When you notice anticipation of conflict, breathe. Interrupt the script. Then consciously author a new one. I am valued. I am chosen. I am supported. I am expanding. State it without strain. Calmly. Repeatedly. Naturally. The true sign comes with peace and clarity. It feels like an aha. It is light. When a new assumption settles in the body without resistance, the shift has begun. You do not force belief. You install it through repetition and emotional neutrality. Think of water heating toward boiling. At 90 degrees, it is hot but unchanged. At 100 degrees, transformation occurs. The shift is not gradual at the final moment. It is instantaneous. Sustained assumption reaches critical temperature. Then reality reorganizes quickly. What you assume, you experience. Guard your casual statements. Humor carries frequency. Complaints reinforce identity. Even subtle phrases like, "That's just my luck," instruct the subconscious to maintain limitation. Replace them deliberately. Not with desperation. With certainty. You are not pretending. You are selecting. Selection precedes experience. If you assume growth is inevitable, obstacles transform into stepping stones. If you assume rejection is redirection, disappointment loses sting. If you assume timing is precise, impatience dissolves. Your life begins to feel orchestrated rather than chaotic. In metaphysics, coincidences do not exist. Only synchronicities exist. Synchronicity aligns with dominant expectation. When you expect support, supportive people stand out. When you anticipate opportunity, doors become visible. The filter obeys the forecast. What you assume, you experience. Right now, examine your dominant expectation about the future. Is it expansion or repetition? Is it ease or struggle? Is it partnership or isolation? You do not need to fight the old belief. You outgrow it by installing a stronger one. Repetition builds familiarity. Familiarity builds safety. Safety allows acceptance. Speak your new assumption daily. Visualize it briefly. Feel its normalcy. Then release urgency. The subconscious works continuously. There is no gap between inner conviction and outer demonstration except the time required for stabilization. The manifestation is inevitable if the frequency is held with unwavering faith. This chapter is about responsibility without blame. You are not guilty for past assumptions. You were unconscious. Now you are aware. Awareness grants authorship. You are the editor of the script. You are the loader of the film. You are the setter of the thermostat. What you assume, you experience. Let that settle deeply. Because once you understand that assumption shapes perception, a deeper realization emerges. If beliefs filter reality, then identity determines belief. And identity is adjustable. You have seen how the prophecy forms. Now it is time to discover the hidden mechanism that decides which assumptions feel safe to hold and which feel impossible to sustain. Chapter 3. The Law of Inner Permission, the Hidden Switch. There is a switch inside you. It is invisible. It is biological. It is decisive. This switch determines what you are allowed to experience. Not what you desire. Not what you chase. Not what you visualize for 5 minutes in the morning. It determines what you feel safe holding. You rise to the level you feel safe receiving. Permission precedes possession. This is the hidden mechanism most people never discover. They focus on goals. They focus on strategy. They focus on external action. Yet the nervous system is the gatekeeper. Your body will not sustain what your identity has not approved. You can consciously want abundance while subconsciously bracing for loss. You can intellectually desire love while physically preparing for betrayal. You can speak confidence while internally anticipating exposure. The body always wins. You rise to the level you feel safe receiving. Safety is not logical. It is conditioned. It is learned through repetition. If struggle has been familiar, ease feels suspicious. If chaos has been normal, stability feels foreign. The nervous system equates familiarity with survival. That is why sudden success often collapses. That is why unexpected wealth disappears. That is why healthy relationships feel boring to someone accustomed to volatility. The system seeks equilibrium. Consider the financial thermostat. If your internal setting is calibrated to just enough to survive, any income beyond that range triggers discomfort. You may not consciously sabotage, yet small decisions subtly restore the familiar baseline. Extra expenses appear. Risky choices surface. Opportunities are postponed. The external fluctuation corrects back to the internal setting. Permission precedes possession. To permanently increase income, you must increase safety at that level. You must normalize overflow. You must feel regulated while holding more. You rise to the level you feel safe receiving. This applies to love. If affection feels overwhelming because past experiences associated intimacy with pain, your body tightens when someone treats you well. You may withdraw. You may create distance. You may find fault. Not because love is unavailable, because safety has not been updated. The nervous system does not care about your vision board. It cares about protection. It scans for threat. If abundance has been linked to danger, envy from others, family conflict, pressure, responsibility, it will quietly restrict you. Many individuals who grew up hearing, "money changes people," unconsciously associate wealth with loss of belonging. To preserve connection, they limit expansion. The pattern is precise. You rise to the level you feel safe receiving. Permission precedes possession. This is liberating knowledge. It means the barrier is not external resistance. It is internal regulation. When you imagine your next level, observe your body. Does your breathing shorten? Does tension increase? Does doubt surface instantly? That reaction reveals the edge of safety. Do not fight the edge. Expand it. Safety grows through exposure and repetition. Just as muscles adapt to heavier weight gradually, the nervous system adapts to higher capacity through consistent experience. Start by embodying the identity in small increments. Make decisions from abundance in minor ways. Speak as someone stable in love even before partnership appears. Practice generosity when resources are modest. Each action communicates approval. The body registers, this is allowed. You rise to the level you feel safe receiving. There is a reason some people experience rapid breakthroughs while others plateau for years. The difference is not worthiness. It is tolerance. How much success can you tolerate without anxiety? How much visibility can you tolerate without shrinking? How much peace can you tolerate without manufacturing drama? Tolerance expands capacity. Think of boiling water. At 90 degrees, change feels close but incomplete. At 100 degrees, transformation occurs quickly. The shift is not about time spent warming. It is about reaching critical threshold. Emotional saturation creates quantum change. 5 minutes of fully embodied certainty does more than years of hesitant wishing. Permission precedes possession. The law of inner permission also explains why affirmations sometimes feel hollow. If you repeat, "I am wealthy," while your body signals threat, the subconscious resists. The statement conflicts with identity. Instead of forcing belief, build familiarity. I am becoming comfortable with overflow. I am safe holding more. I expand calmly. These statements invite the nervous system forward rather than shocking it. The manifestation is inevitable if the frequency is held with unwavering faith. Faith is regulated certainty. Observe children who grow up in stable prosperity. Wealth feels ordinary. Opportunity feels normal. They do not tense around larger numbers. Their baseline expectation is expansion. Safety determines ceiling. You rise to the level you feel safe receiving. If you have historically associated visibility with criticism, success with exhaustion, or leadership with isolation, your system will restrict advancement. Not to harm you, to protect you. Update the association. Success equals contribution. Wealth equals freedom. Visibility equals impact. Love equals support. Repetition rewires response. The nervous system learns through evidence. Provide small proofs consistently. Deposit savings and allow it to sit. Accept compliments without deflection. Share ideas without apology. Every calm exposure expands range. Permission precedes possession. You are not waiting for the world to approve you. You are authorizing yourself internally. This is the hidden switch. When identity upgrades, capacity increases automatically. Opportunities that once felt intimidating now feel aligned. Conversations that once triggered insecurity now feel neutral. Growth becomes sustainable. You rise to the level you feel safe receiving. Notice how this connects to the self-fulfilling prophecy. Assumptions shape perception, but permission determines which assumptions can stabilize. You may assume greatness for a moment, yet if greatness feels unsafe, the system retracts. Integration requires embodiment. This work is gentle. It is not forceful. It is consistent exposure to higher states without overwhelm. The true sign comes with peace and clarity. It feels like an aha. It is light. When your next level feels calm rather than chaotic, you have expanded safety. Many chase intensity, thinking it signals transformation. In reality, stability signals readiness. When abundance feels normal, it remains. When love feels secure, it deepens. When leadership feels grounded, influence grows. You rise to the level you feel safe receiving. Permission precedes possession. Internal approval is the gateway to external evidence. Right now, consider the area of life that feels stalled. Ask yourself, does this level feel safe to surpass? Or does surpassing it threaten belonging, identity, or comfort? Awareness dissolves hidden resistance. You are allowed to expand beyond your upbringing. You are allowed to exceed previous limits. You are allowed to redefine normal. Safety is teachable. Begin today by visualizing your next level while breathing slowly. Relax your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Let the body experience expansion without alarm. This is how ceilings dissolve. Not by force, by familiarity. You rise to the level you feel safe receiving. Permission precedes possession. Once permission stabilizes, manifestation accelerates. Time compresses. Opportunities align rapidly because there is no internal opposition. You have discovered the switch. Now you are ready to see how the outer world mirrors this internal authorization with absolute precision. Chapter 4: The Quantum Mirror. Stand in front of a mirror. If there is dust on your face, the reflection shows dust. If you smile, the image smiles back. If you frown, the image complies instantly. The mirror does not argue. The mirror does not interpret. The mirror does not lie. Reality functions the same way. The quantum mirror reflects identity, not preference. It responds to who you believe yourself to be beneath performance. Surface desire is irrelevant if self-concept contradicts it. You may want respect. You may want wealth. You may want devotion. Yet if you identify as unworthy, unstable, or secondary, the reflection aligns with that identity. The mirror does not lie. Most people attempt to polish the glass instead of washing the face. They negotiate harder. They argue louder. They hustle longer. They manipulate circumstances. They demand different outcomes while holding the same internal image. Scrubbing the reflection changes nothing. If there is coal on your face and you attack the mirror, the stain remains. When you cleanse the source, the image updates effortlessly. This is law-based. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. Consider finances. Someone works overtime, studies investment strategies, reads every wealth book available. Yet internally, they carry the belief, I am bad with money. That identity leaks into decisions. They hesitate at critical moments. They undervalue their work. They tolerate underpayment. Externally, income fluctuates or stagnates. They blame the market. The mirror does not lie. Change the self-concept to, I am a capable steward of resources, and behavior shifts quietly. Negotiations feel natural. Boundaries strengthen. Opportunities are evaluated with clarity instead of fear. The external number rises to match internal authority. The transformation did not begin with the bank account. It began with identity. Look at relationships. A person who sees themselves as an option is treated as optional. They overextend. They accommodate excessively. They shrink preferences to avoid rejection. Partners sense this dynamic. They invest accordingly. Then one day the individual upgrades their identity. They decide calmly and fully, I am chosen. I am valued. I am respected. The posture changes. The tone shifts. Availability becomes selective. Treatment adjusts. The mirror does not lie. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. Your subconscious projects like a film reel. The world is the screen. If the scene feels threatening, You do not tear down the theater. You examine the real. Beliefs are encoded in identity. Identity is adjustable. Many attempt to manifest by repeating desires while maintaining opposing self-definitions. They say, "I want success," while privately identifying as someone who always struggles. The contradiction delays evidence. Surface affirmations without identity integration create friction. The mirror reflects the deeper layer. The quantum mirror also explains recurring conflict. If you carry insecurity, you scan for threat. Neutral comments sound critical. Delays feel intentional. You react defensively. The other person responds to your tension. Conflict escalates. You conclude, people are difficult. The mirror does not lie. Shift identity to, "I am secure and grounded," and interpretation changes. Ambiguity no longer triggers panic. Conversations soften. Misunderstandings resolve faster. The reflection follows the internal shift. This principle is visible in leadership. When someone identifies as a contributor rather than a leader, they wait to be chosen. They withhold bold ideas. They defer decisions. Others treat them as peripheral. When identity becomes, "I am decisive and impactful," behavior reorganizes. Voice stabilizes. Eye contact strengthens. Initiative increases. Recognition arrives. The mirror does not lie. You must learn to ignore the current reflection while you create the new one. If you decide to see yourself as powerful today, yesterday's evidence may still linger. External circumstances take a moment to recalibrate. Do not panic. Do not revert. Hold the new self-concept steadily. The manifestation is inevitable if the frequency is held with unwavering faith. Faith is consistency of identity. The quantum mirror operates without emotion. It is precise. It is mathematical. It does not reward effort alone. It responds to embodiment. This is why dramatic effort without internal change exhausts people. They push against reflections rather than adjusting projection. The efficient path is inward. Observe how children with strong encouragement behave differently from those conditioned with doubt. The child told repeatedly, "You are capable," attempts boldly. The one told, "Be careful, you might fail," hesitates. Years later, their realities diverge. The mirror does not lie. It is not fate. It is feedback. Identity informs posture. Posture influences interaction. Interaction generates response. Response reinforces identity. Interrupt the cycle at the source. Decide who you are, not aspirationally, factually. I am competent. I am resilient. I am worthy of expansion. I am steady under pressure. From today on, you are forbidden to use "I am" negatively. The words following those two letters instruct the projector. If you repeatedly say, "I am awkward," your body cooperates. Movements stiffen. Speech falters. You gather proof. If you declare, "I am articulate," the nervous system aligns differently. Breath slows. Words flow more easily. The mirror does not lie. The world is responding to the identity you broadcast unconsciously. Broadcast changes everything. There is a delay between internal revision and external confirmation. During that interval, discipline matters. You hold the new self-image without arguing with old evidence. You maintain composure while the reflection reorganizes. This is mastery. The quantum mirror also reveals why comparison is misleading. You see someone else's reflection and assume it is luck. You do not see their internal film. You do not hear their private declarations. You do not witness the identity they have rehearsed for years. Every reflection is earned through embodiment. What you assume, you experience. What you embody, you encounter. The mirror does not lie. If results feel repetitive, examine identity rather than environment. Ask, who must I believe myself to be for this pattern to continue? Then gently upgrade that belief. Identity expansion feels like stepping into tailored clothing. It fits cleanly. It supports posture. It requires no exaggeration. The true sign comes with peace and clarity. It feels like an aha. It is light. When a new self-concept settles without strain, integration has begun. You are not chasing outcomes anymore. You are calibrating identity. Calibrated identity produces predictable reflection. The quantum mirror is unwavering. It is loyal to your self-definition. It cannot distort. It cannot flatter. It cannot deceive. The mirror does not lie. As you accept this, responsibility becomes empowerment. There is no need to control every circumstance. Adjust the internal image and allow life to respond. This is precise work, calm work, consistent work. You have seen how the mirror reflects identity. Now the question becomes deeper. If the mirror is exact and identity shapes projection, can identity shift fast enough to collapse years into months? Yes. And that is where we go next. Chapter 5. Collapsing the Timeline. Time feels solid. It feels linear. It feels sequential. It feels slow when you are waiting and fast when you are aligned. Yet time is not the force determining your progress. Identity determines speed. Two people can begin at the same point and arrive at drastically different destinations within the same calendar year. The difference is not luck. It is self-concept embodied consistently. Time expands for hesitation. Time compresses for decision. Be it before you see it. Move like it's already done. Most individuals approach transformation as a gradual climb. They believe years must pass before evidence appears. They assume distance between present and future is fixed. Distance is psychological. When you continue behaving as your current identity, you extend the current timeline. When you begin behaving as your future identity, you shorten it. Identity determines speed. Imagine someone who wants to become financially stable. They say, "One day I'll manage money wisely." Yet today they delay tracking expenses. They postpone learning. They avoid negotiation. The timeline stretches. Now imagine they decide calmly and fully, "I am financially disciplined." Immediately, behavior reorganizes. Spending becomes intentional. Investments are studied. Conversations shift. Years compress into months. Be it before you see it. The future self is not waiting somewhere ahead. It is a pattern of thinking and acting available now. When you embody that pattern, results accelerate because the cause is activated. Consider health. A person who says, "I'm trying to get fit," operates from the identity of someone attempting. In contrast, someone who declares, "I am an athlete in training," chooses differently in small daily moments. Food selection changes. Sleep becomes prioritized. Movement becomes non-negotiable. The body responds quickly to identity. Move like it's already done. This does not mean pretending results exist physically. It means stabilizing internally as the version who naturally produces them. When you sit at 90 degrees of effort, water remains liquid indefinitely. When you reach 100 degrees of embodied certainty, transformation occurs suddenly. The boiling point is identity saturation. Intensity shortens duration. 5 minutes of fully aligned decision shifts more than years of half-hearted repetition. Time is elastic under conviction. Be it before you see it. Look at entrepreneurs who appear to explode overnight. In reality, their identity had already shifted months earlier. They were thinking at the level of expansion before revenue reflected it. They were negotiating as leaders before titles confirmed it. The outer world caught up. The manifestation is inevitable if the frequency is held with unwavering faith. Faith is temporal compression. When you move like it's already done, hesitation dissolves. You stop asking for permission. You stop waiting for validation. You stop rehearsing doubt. Action becomes clean. There is no rush energy. There is calm inevitability. Time bends around certainty. Think of someone preparing for a public speaking career. If they wait until they feel confident, years pass. If they identify as a speaker now, they volunteer for small stages immediately. They practice daily. They refine craft intentionally. Opportunities appear faster because readiness is visible. Identity determines speed. The same applies to relationships. If you say, "I hope to find love," you browse casually. You entertain misalignment. You compromise standards. If you say, "I am in a committed partnership trajectory," you filter differently. You disengage quickly from incompatibility. The timeline shortens. Be it before you see it. The nervous system plays a role here. When you fully authorize your next level, resistance decreases. Decisions become efficient. Procrastination fades. Energy concentrates. Momentum accelerates. Time is not collapsing magically. Friction is dissolving internally. You must learn to ignore the current reflection while you create the new one. If evidence lags, maintain embodiment. Do not retreat into old identity because results have not yet materialized. Hold posture. Hold tone. Hold expectation. Move like it's already done. This principle is visible in elite performance. Athletes visualize victory not as fantasy, but as rehearsal. Their body practices success neurologically before competition occurs. When the event arrives, the experience feels familiar. Familiarity increases speed. Unfamiliarity delays progress. If wealth feels foreign, growth slows. If leadership feels foreign, opportunity feels intimidating. When these states become normal internally, advancement happens rapidly. Identity determines speed. Notice how quickly habits change after a decisive moment. Someone who has smoked for years may stop immediately after a powerful realization. The timeline of quitting collapses because identity shifts from smoker trying to quit to non-smoker. Behavior aligns instantly. Be it before you see it. The same applies to productivity. When you see yourself as disciplined, distractions lose power. When you identify as focused, time is used precisely. Output increases without additional hours. Years of incremental progress condense. Move like it's already done. There is no arrogance in this. There is only alignment. You are not faking success. You are stabilizing as the version who generates it naturally. Time responds to embodiment. If you remain attached to gradualism, you extend delay. If you embrace immediacy of identity, you accelerate. This is not impatience. It is precision. The quantum mirror reflects identity. The self-fulfilling prophecy confirms assumption. The law of inner permission stabilizes safety. When all three align, timelines compress dramatically. Be it before you see it. Ask yourself, how would I speak today if my desired outcome were guaranteed? How would I allocate time? How would I carry myself? How would I decide? Then implement those behaviors now. Do not wait for applause. Do not wait for numbers. Do not wait for external endorsement. Move like it's already done. The true sign comes with peace and clarity. It feels like an aha. It is light. When you embody your future self, there is no strain. There is quiet confidence. There is reduced noise. There is focused movement. This is temporal mastery. Identity determines speed. Once you experience time collapsing in one area, you realize delay was never external. It was internal alignment waiting to solidify. You are not bound by past pacing. You are governed by present embodiment. Be it before you see it. Move like it's already done. Hold this consistently and watch how rapidly circumstances rearrange. Now that you understand how to compress time, you must prepare for the force that appears the moment expansion accelerates. Because when you approach breakthrough, something always stands at the edge. Chapter 6. The Guardian of the Threshold. Every expansion has a doorway. Every doorway has a guardian, and that guardian feels like fear. The moment you move beyond your familiar identity, something rises internally. Your heart beats faster. Doubt grows louder. Old memories resurface. Sudden distractions appear. Fatigue increases. Urgency to retreat intensifies. This is not regression. This is threshold energy. Intensity means proximity. The guardian of the threshold is not an enemy. It is a signal that you are leaving the known and entering the expanded. The nervous system detects unfamiliar territory and activates protection protocols. Growth feels unsafe before it feels normal. Intensity means proximity. Think about the last time you were about to make a bold decision. Perhaps it was submitting an application that could change your career. Perhaps it was expressing feelings honestly. Perhaps it was investing in yourself at a higher level. Right before action, resistance surged. You questioned your readiness. You reconsidered your timing. You searched for reassurance. That surge was confirmation. Intensity means proximity. Fear increases at the edge of breakthrough because identity is dissolving. The old version of you senses its expiration. It attempts to preserve familiarity. It whispers caution disguised as logic. Wait until you're more prepared. Now isn't the right time. What if this fails? These thoughts feel rational. They are protective. Resistance equals expansion. If there were no growth available, there would be no resistance. You do not feel panic about staying exactly where you are. You feel discomfort when stepping beyond the current ceiling. The guardian appears only at thresholds. Consider public speaking. A person comfortable in small conversations may feel calm daily. Yet when invited to address a larger audience, anxiety spikes. The body reacts as if danger is present. Nothing external has changed except scale. The expansion triggered intensity. Intensity means proximity. Entrepreneurs experience this before major launches. Athletes feel it before championship games. Artists feel it before releasing vulnerable work. The closer they are to a new level, the louder the internal noise becomes. This is predictable. The nervous system interprets unfamiliar scale as potential threat. Visibility equals exposure. Exposure historically meant vulnerability. The body remembers older survival patterns even when modern context is safe. Understanding this transforms fear from obstacle to indicator. Resistance equals expansion. Look at the financial thermostat again. When income begins rising beyond the established comfort zone, subtle tension appears. You might feel undeserving. You might anticipate loss. You might unconsciously delay invoices or postpone negotiations. The guardian is guarding the old identity. It asks, are you certain you want to surpass this level? If you retreat, the thermostat resets downward. If you persist calmly, capacity expands. Intensity means proximity. Relationships follow the same pattern. When genuine intimacy begins forming, vulnerability increases. Someone accustomed to distance may feel sudden urges to withdraw. They may create arguments over minor details. They may doubt compatibility without clear evidence. The body equates closeness with risk. Resistance equals expansion. If you stay present and breathe through the discomfort, intimacy deepens. The nervous system recalibrates. Safety increases at the new level. Every meaningful upgrade triggers this sequence. It is a law. The guardian of the threshold tests commitment. Not through punishment, through sensation. Your task is not to eliminate fear. Your task is to interpret it accurately. Intensity means proximity. When anxiety rises before a bold move, pause. Notice the physical sensations. Increased heart rate, tightened stomach, rapid thoughts. Instead of labeling it as danger, label it as expansion energy. Language shapes response. Say internally, this sensation signals growth. The body listens. Resistance equals expansion. Imagine lifting weights. The final repetitions burn the most. Muscles shake. Breath shortens. That discomfort indicates adaptation. If you stop at the first sign of strain, strength plateaus. If you complete the set with control, Muscle fibers rebuild stronger. Emotional thresholds operate identically. The Guardian adds weight to measure readiness. Intensity means proximity. There is also an external dimension. When you decide to upgrade identity, external tests appear. Unexpected challenges arise. People question your change. Old acquaintances attempt to pull you back into familiar roles. This is not coincidence. Systems resist alteration. If you were always the agreeable one, asserting boundaries may surprise others. They may react negatively at first. That reaction is friction from shifting dynamics. Resistance equals expansion. Stand steady. You are not responsible for others' comfort with your growth. The Guardian's role is to ensure that expansion is chosen consciously. If your decision is weak, you retreat. If your decision is grounded, you proceed. The manifestation is inevitable if the frequency is held with unwavering faith. Faith at the threshold feels different than faith in comfort. It is quieter. It is deliberate. It is less emotional and more anchored. Intensity means proximity. Observe patterns in your life. Each time you were close to breakthrough, what happened? Did unexpected chaos appear? Did self-doubt intensify? Did distractions multiply? These were not signs to stop. They were indicators you were near crossing. Fear peaks at the edge. Then it dissolves once you step through. The first public speech feels terrifying. The 10th feels manageable. The 100th feels natural. The Guardian stands only at the entrance, not inside the expanded room. Resistance equals expansion. Most people misinterpret threshold energy and turn back. They assume discomfort means misalignment. In truth, the true sign comes with peace and clarity after crossing, not before. Before crossing, there is activation. After crossing, there is stability. Intensity means proximity. If you are feeling amplified doubt right now, consider what breakthrough you are approaching. What opportunity feels both exciting and intimidating? What decision feels expansive yet charged? That is your doorway. Walk toward it calmly. Do not fight the sensation. Breathe through it. Slow your movements. Anchor your posture. Let the nervous system experience growth without panic. Each time you cross a threshold, your baseline expands. What once felt overwhelming becomes ordinary. What once felt impossible becomes expected. This is how ceilings rise. Resistance equals expansion. There is wisdom in the Guardian. It ensures you are not drifting into growth unconsciously. It demands presence. It asks for clarity. It invites you to reaffirm your identity. When intensity rises, respond with steadiness. Intensity means proximity. You are not being blocked. You are being initiated. Cross enough thresholds, and you realize fear is not a stop sign. It is a milestone. It marks the border between who you were and who you are becoming. Step forward, because on the other side of the Guardian lies synchronization. And once you cross, you begin to notice something extraordinary. Life starts speaking back. Chapter 7. The Language of the Universe. Life is speaking to you, not in sentences, not in audible words, not in dramatic announcements. It speaks in patterns. Patterns are messages. Pay attention to what repeats. The universe does not communicate through coincidence. In metaphysics, coincidences do not exist. Only synchronicities exist. What appears random is often resonance aligning with readiness. Synchronicity is meaningful timing. You think about someone and they call. You consider changing direction, and 3 separate conversations mention the same idea. You hesitate about a decision and encounter the same phrase repeatedly in different places. These are not accidents. Patterns are messages. The universe speaks through resonance and repetition. When your internal frequency shifts, you begin to notice corresponding signals. The reticular activating system filters reality according to dominant focus. What aligns with your current state becomes visible. When you are tuned to growth, guidance becomes obvious. Pay attention to what repeats. Repetition is emphasis. If a lesson remains unlearned, it reappears in new forms. A controlling parent becomes a controlling partner. A dismissive partner becomes a dismissive employer. The faces change. The dynamic persists. The universe is a precise school. Until the pattern is recognized, the course continues. Patterns are messages. This is not punishment. It is instruction. If you continuously attract relationships where you feel unheard, the repetition reveals an internal boundary not yet established. The mirror reflects a vibration asking for adjustment. Once the lesson integrates, the pattern dissolves. Pay attention to what repeats. Synchronicity also operates positively. When you decide firmly on a new direction, aligned opportunities surface quickly. You meet someone who offers insight. An article appears answering your question. An invitation arrives unexpectedly. Momentum gathers. The universe speaks through resonance and repetition. Resonance is vibrational compatibility. When your identity stabilizes at a new level, matching circumstances cluster around you. It feels orchestrated because it is aligned. Consider when you decide to purchase a specific vehicle. Suddenly that model appears everywhere. The cars were always present. Your awareness adjusted. Life operates similarly. When you decide to elevate, evidence of elevation surrounds you. Patterns are messages. Intuition is another dialect of this language. It is subtle. It is calm. It is not frantic. The true sign comes with peace and clarity. It feels like an aha. It is light. Intuition does not shout. Fear shouts. Ego shouts. Anxiety shouts. Guidance whispers. You may feel a gentle pull toward a conversation. You may sense hesitation about a commitment without logical explanation. That sensation is internal alignment communicating before evidence appears. Pay attention to what repeats. If a thought persists calmly over time, it carries significance. If a direction continues resurfacing without urgency, it is worth exploring. The universe communicates through cycles as well. Notice the seasons of your life. Periods of intense activity are followed by reflection. Expansion is followed by integration. Rest prepares renewal. Nothing is chaotic. Patterns are messages. Observe financial cycles. If money flows in bursts followed by sudden loss, examine beliefs about sustainability. If income rises but vanishes quickly, the repetition reveals internal limits. Recognition precedes change. Pay attention to what repeats. Health patterns reveal messages too. Recurring tension in the body often correlates with unresolved emotion. Chronic fatigue may reflect boundaries unspoken. Physical signals are not random malfunctions, they are feedback loops. The body participates in universal language. The universe speaks through resonance and repetition. You are not separate from this system. Your thoughts transmit. Your emotions amplify. Your identity broadcasts continuously. External reality replies in corresponding frequency. What you assume, you experience. When you assume chaos, you notice disorder. When you assume alignment, you notice orchestration. Patterns are messages. There is also divine timing. Some doors open effortlessly, while others remain closed despite effort. If resistance persists without clarity, it may indicate misalignment rather than failure. The difference between fear and misalignment is sensation. Fear feels charged and urgent. Misalignment feels heavy and constricted. The true sign comes with peace and clarity. It feels like an aha. It is light. Pay attention to what repeats. If multiple independent sources confirm the same idea, consider it reinforcement. If different people offer identical advice without coordination, recognize synchronization. Life emphasizes what matters. This does not mean overanalyzing every minor detail. It means observing consistent themes. A single event may be random. A repeated sequence carries information. Patterns are messages. The universe also removes what no longer aligns. Relationships fade. Opportunities close. Environments shift unexpectedly. These removals often precede expansion. Space is created intentionally. When something exits repeatedly, ask what it made room for. Pay attention to what repeats. Gratitude sharpens perception of guidance. When you acknowledge small alignments, larger ones become visible. Appreciation raises frequency. Higher frequency reveals subtler signals. The manifestation is inevitable if the frequency is held with unwavering faith. Faith enhances awareness. Doubt clouds perception. If you assume life is working against you, you notice obstacles. If you assume life is coordinating for you, you notice support. The language remains constant. Interpretation shifts. Patterns are messages. Silence can also be communication. When clarity is absent, pause rather than forcing movement. Stillness often precedes direction. Space allows recalibration. Guidance intensifies after integration. Pay attention to what repeats. When the same obstacle appears across different areas, it highlights a core belief. When similar encouragement arises in varied contexts, it affirms alignment. Life echoes your inner state. You do not need to chase signs. You refine identity and signs appear naturally. The system is responsive. It mirrors readiness. The universe speaks through resonance and repetition. As you progress, synchronicity increases. Conversations become timely. Resources arrive precisely when needed. Challenges contain embedded lessons. Even delays feel purposeful. You begin to trust the orchestration. Patterns are messages. Trust does not mean passivity. It means responsive action. When alignment appears, move. When resistance clarifies misdirection, adjust. When intuition nudges gently, follow. Pay attention to what repeats. This chapter invites awareness. Observe your environment over the next days. Notice recurring themes in dialogue. Notice emotional triggers repeating. Notice opportunities clustering. Everything communicates. The world is not random noise. It is structured feedback. Once you understand this language, life feels interactive rather than accidental. You are in conversation with existence. And as you refine your internal state, the conversation becomes more coherent. Because the next level of mastery is not just hearing the language. It is deliberately tuning your frequency to influence what is said back. Chapter 8. The Emotional Magnet. Emotion is the power amplifier of belief. Thought alone is insufficient. Ideas without feeling float in abstraction. Words without resonance fail to imprint on the nervous system. Emotion converts mental intention into physiological readiness. It prepares the body to receive. Feel it until it feels normal. Every manifestation passes through this channel. The subconscious does not distinguish between imagined and lived experience if the emotion is fully embodied. When the nervous system resonates with certainty, the external world reorganizes rapidly. The body must feel safe for manifestation to stabilize. Imagine a person desiring wealth, but tensing every time they visualize abundance. The heart races. The stomach tightens. Breathing shortens. Even if they declare, "I am abundant," the nervous system resists because expansion feels threatening. Evidence may appear briefly, only to retract. Stability requires comfort, not tension. Feel it until it feels normal. Emotion is a frequency. High-frequency states of calm, joy, and certainty amplify the signal of desire. Low-frequency states of fear, anxiety, and doubt distort transmission. When you align internal vibration with intended outcome, manifestation accelerates. Consider relationships. A person wants connection but anticipates rejection. Nervousness radiates subtly in tone and posture. Potential partners sense hesitation. Opportunities for closeness are filtered out by the mirror. The reflection obeys internal resonance. Feel it until it feels normal. The emotional magnet explains why some affirmations feel hollow. Repeating, "I am healthy," without physiological alignment produces little effect. True embodiment requires calm, consistent emotion tied to belief. The sensation of normalcy signals to the nervous system that the future state is allowed. Safety precedes stability. If abundance, love, or success feels foreign, the body resists. The emotional magnet requires calibration. It integrates thought, emotion, and physiology into a coherent signal. Once the signal is coherent, the universe responds effortlessly. Feel it until it feels normal. Quantum mirror principles apply here. Reflection is precise. When your nervous system vibrates with grounded certainty, the external world reflects alignment. When your body hesitates, opportunities appear blocked. Emotion dictates resonance. Consider financial scenarios. A person visualizes wealth while internally feeling unworthy. Small gains appear, triggering discomfort and retreat. When identity is supported with emotion, calm, confident, capable, the gains stabilize and expand. The body must feel safe for manifestation to stabilize. Emotion also teaches tolerance for new levels of existence. The guardian of the threshold tests readiness. Intensity signals proximity. Fear without calibration signals misalignment. Emotional alignment transforms intensity into signal rather than obstacle. Feel it until it feels normal. The emotional magnet is active in relationships, career, and health. Strong emotions without equilibrium create oscillation, rapid progress followed by collapse. Controlled emotion with identity alignment creates continuity. Repetition of safe embodiment rewires default responses. You are retraining the body to hold higher frequency. You are teaching the system to accept new realities. Feel it until it feels normal. Every emotion has a magnetic charge. Joy draws joy. Calm authority attracts opportunity. Appreciation summons abundance. Resistance repels it. Emotional clarity determines the trajectory of manifestation. The nervous system records subtle cues constantly. Tiny physiological signals accumulate over time, informing what is acceptable to receive. The body must feel safe for manifestation to stabilize. When desire is combined with fear, the signal splits. The universe responds inconsistently. Patterns are fragmented. When desire is embodied with stable emotion, the signal is strong. Events align. People appear in support. Circumstances converge. Feel it until it feels normal. This is the law of emotional resonance. It is immutable. The magnet pulls what corresponds to your vibration. It does not negotiate. It does not compromise. It reflects with precision. Feelings are the language of approval. Thought is the invitation. Emotion is the confirmation. The stronger the embodied emotion, the faster the manifestation crystallizes. Practice daily. Visualize outcome with calm certainty. Let the body experience ease while holding desire. Anchor the state in breath, posture, and thought. Do not force exhilaration. Do not chase intensity. Normalcy signals readiness. The body must feel safe for manifestation to stabilize. This principle also explains delayed evidence. When the nervous system is hesitant, opportunities appear sporadically, then disappear. When the system stabilizes, manifestations endure. The magnet only attracts what the body can sustain. Feel it until it feels normal. The emotional magnet teaches integration. Mind, body, and feeling must act as one. Thought creates blueprint. Identity stabilizes it. Emotion amplifies. Nervous system permits. External reality conforms. Mastering this sequence accelerates all results. This is the pathway to effortless manifestation. Feel it until it feels normal. As your nervous system accepts the new frequency, obstacles fade. Challenges resolve efficiently. Resistance transforms into guidance. Synchronicity increases. The language of the universe becomes clearer. The manifestation is inevitable if the frequency is held with unwavering faith. The emotional magnet connects seamlessly with the quantum mirror, the self-fulfilling prophecy, and inner permission. All systems amplify when emotion stabilizes identity. Feel it until it feels normal. When this principle is embodied fully, you no longer chase outcomes. You hold certainty. You radiate readiness. You magnetize alignment. Opportunities arrive in resonance, not struggle. The body must feel safe for manifestation to stabilize. Your task is simple. Embody the desired outcome with calm, grounded emotion. Repeat the state. Integrate fully. Let it saturate identity. Allow the system to accept new possibilities as familiar. Feel it until it feels normal. The emotional magnet is your force multiplier. It is invisible, undeniable, and inevitable. When the magnet is steady, the future collapses into present reality effortlessly. Next, we explore the hidden architecture behind manifestation, the unseen support shaping every outcome. Chapter 9. The Identity Collapse. Transformation requires dissolution. The old self must dissolve before the new self stabilizes. Identity is a structure built over years of belief, habit, and experience. It is rigid, familiar, and protective. To expand, it must release its grip. This is not failure. This is evolution. Discomfort is recalibration. Every belief, habit, and pattern tied to the previous identity begins to shift. Old priorities feel irrelevant. Former comforts appear hollow. People, routines, and circumstances no longer resonate. This is temporary chaos, not catastrophe. It is the nervous system realigning to higher frequency. Discomfort is recalibration. The mind resists initially. It attempts to reassert old patterns. Doubt surges. Fear intensifies. Familiar narratives whisper, return, retreat, hide. These are echoes of the prior self seeking stability. Listen, acknowledge, then step forward. Chaos signals realignment. Consider someone advancing in their career. Suddenly, previous achievements feel inadequate. Past relationships feel mismatched. Daily routines seem constraining. These sensations are not random. They are the shedding of former identity. Discomfort is recalibration. Physiological shifts accompany this process. Sleep patterns change. Appetite fluctuates. Energy surges unexpectedly. Emotional swings intensify. The body is adapting to new thresholds, stretching beyond prior limits. This is normal. Temporary chaos is identity reorganization. Old self-concepts may attempt to reassert dominance through judgment. Thoughts like, I am not ready, I am failing, or I am overwhelmed appear. They are automatic protective responses. Observe them without submission. Each intrusive thought is a sign that transformation is active. Discomfort is recalibration. During identity collapse, social dynamics shift. Friends may question changes. Partners may react defensively. Work environments may resist your evolution. These external ripples mirror internal realignment. The universe tests the stability of your new self. Chaos confirms growth. Repetition accelerates the process. As new behaviors, beliefs, and emotional states are practiced consistently, the nervous system integrates. The old self weakens. The new self gains traction. Small acts of alignment accumulate into significant identity restructuring. Discomfort is recalibration. This is evident in finances. When expanding wealth, temporary confusion about money management may surface. Decisions that previously felt automatic now require conscious alignment. Old spending habits appear. Emotional resistance arises. These moments are signals, not setbacks. Temporary chaos is identity reorganization. Relationships also shift. Individuals may outgrow social circles, experiencing subtle tension or separation. This is not punishment. It is calibration. Old vibrations no longer resonate with emerging frequency. Discomfort is recalibration. Physical environment may change. Living spaces, workspaces, or daily routines feel restrictive. There is a subconscious push to reorganize surroundings to reflect the emerging self. The collapse of old structure is natural. Temporary chaos is identity reorganization. Embrace the paradox. To become more of yourself, fragments of the former self must fall away. Resistance is expected. Confusion is expected. Emotional intensity is expected. These are not indicators to quit. They are indicators that expansion is authentic. Discomfort is recalibration. Consider emotional triggers. Past fears, insecurities, and suppressed desires emerge in amplified form. This is the nervous system rehearsing capacity for the new frequency. Observing without reacting accelerates integration. Temporary chaos is identity reorganization. Even success feels unfamiliar at first. The new self operates beyond previous comfort zones. Tasks once simple feel foreign. Recognition that used to feel ordinary may now provoke subtle doubt. Each sensation is evidence of boundary expansion. Discomfort is recalibration. Identity collapse also dissolves limiting self-concepts. Labels such as "I am not capable," "I am not worthy," or "I cannot sustain abundance" are challenged by new experience. Each time the system encounters an alignment opportunity, these labels weaken. Temporary chaos is identity reorganization. The process is cumulative. Minor collapses precede major shifts. Early discomfort predicts later stability. Every tensioned moment strengthens integration if approached consciously. Discomfort is recalibration. The key is observation and acceptance. Watch internal states without judgment. Allow external circumstances to reflect transformation. Maintain calm and clarity. Let the nervous system experience evolution safely. Temporary chaos is identity reorganization. This principle connects to the emotional magnet. Feeling safe in new identity, despite temporary chaos, ensures stability. Without emotion anchoring the new self, old patterns reassert control. Feeling and belief operate together to cement change. Discomfort is recalibration. Ultimately, the identity collapse is liberation. What once limited you now dissolves, making space for a higher self. Chaos is temporary. Stability is incoming. Patience combined with faithful embodiment ensures seamless emergence. Temporary chaos is identity reorganization. Your task: observe, feel, stabilize, and repeat. Let old identity fragments drift away without fear. Embrace uncertainty as signal, not threat. Allow your nervous system to accept your next level as safe, inevitable, and natural. Discomfort is recalibration. Once this process is integrated, the next stage becomes visible. The external world aligns rapidly because the internal self has been rebuilt. You no longer respond from limitation. You operate from calibrated expansion. Temporary chaos is identity reorganization. You are now ready to harness the unseen architecture that shapes life itself. Chapter 10. Assume the end. Do not wait for evidence. Assume it is inevitable. The end exists before the beginning. Outcomes are already determined in the mind that knows. Life responds to certainty more than to desire. You do not negotiate with probability when identity is fixed. You operate from inevitability. Assume it is inevitable. Athletes visualize victory before stepping on the field. They rehearse every movement, every decision, every feeling of triumph. They do not hope for success. They inhabit it internally. By the time the game begins, the nervous system is primed, the body is prepared, and the mind operates as if the outcome has already been realized. Assume it is inevitable. Leaders act as though their impact has already materialized. They speak, strategize, and command from the place of completion. Decisions are not hesitant. Opportunities are not debated endlessly. The posture of certainty projects results before they are visible externally. Assume it is inevitable. Creators, inventors, and innovators embrace the same principle. They see the finished work in vivid detail, experience the satisfaction, and calibrate all actions to that internal reality. The product already exists in consciousness. Physical manifestation becomes a natural consequence of prior assumption. Assume it is inevitable. This is law-based. The mind and body act in coherence. The nervous system responds to clarity of vision. When the internal frequency stabilizes on certainty, external events accelerate to match. Hesitation slows the process. Doubt interrupts the magnetic pull. Faith amplifies momentum. Assume it is inevitable. Consider someone manifesting financial freedom. They do not negotiate small wins. They inhabit the version of themselves fully supported, resourceful, and capable. Investment decisions, negotiations, and opportunities flow naturally because the body, mind, and emotion are already aligned with the end state. Assume it is inevitable. Even relationships follow this principle. If a person identifies as already beloved and valued, interactions shift subtly but profoundly. Confidence radiates. Boundaries hold naturally. Choices align with expected respect and reciprocity. The universe reflects back the identity held internally. Assume it is inevitable. This does not mean ignoring reality. It means interpreting reality through the lens of certainty. Obstacles appear, but they are temporary rearrangements of circumstance. Evidence may lag. That does not diminish truth. The future you have assumed is already unfolding behind the veil. Assume it is inevitable. Notice the difference between those who wait for permission and those who inhabit completion. The first hesitates, searches externally for validation, and experiences delay. The second moves fluidly, knowing outcomes are secured, and thus manifests faster. Assume it is inevitable. Every decision, no matter how small, must align with assumed victory. Words, posture, and energy transmit certainty to the nervous system. The internal state precedes action. The external outcome follows. Assume it is inevitable. Temporary setbacks are irrelevant to the one who assumes completion. The universe may test, delay, or challenge, but the principle remains. What is already assumed internally will manifest externally if embodied consistently. Assume it is inevitable. Embodying the end eliminates distraction. There is no bargaining with probability, no wasted energy on maybe, and no unconscious hesitation. Focus is unwavering. Action is precise. Identity is immutable. Assume it is inevitable. The principle also explains why repeated visualization without alignment fails. If the body, mind, and emotion do not recognize completion as real, assumption is hollow. Full embodiment of inevitability ensures the external world aligns seamlessly. Assume it is inevitable. Begin your day with the internal reality established. Speak, move, and decide as the person for whom the desired outcome is already a fact. The environment will adapt. Synchronicity will accelerate. Opportunities will appear as confirmations rather than miracles. Assume it is inevitable. The future is a pre-existing blueprint. Your role is not to create it from uncertainty, but to inhabit it fully. Every choice, reaction, and thought should echo the internalized end. The universe mirrors this certainty precisely. Assume it is inevitable. When doubts emerge, remember, hesitation does not dictate outcome. Identity dictates outcome. The body, mind, and emotions aligned with certainty hold the power to collapse the timeline, attract resonance, and stabilize manifestation. Assume it is inevitable. The law is simple. The end exists now. Your life unfolds from that inevitability. All patterns, all signs, all synchronicities converge to confirm what is already assumed internally. Assume it is inevitable. Now that you have assumed the end, The next step is mastering the invisible currents that accelerate manifestation, the fractal and hidden design of reality. Chapter 11. The Frequency Shift. Life is always broadcasting. Your perception filters signals constantly. You are not receiving every frequency. You receive what matches your internal state. Gratitude opens channels. Certainty clears static. Doubt narrows awareness. Attention determines reception. Tune the station. Every thought, feeling, and belief emits a vibrational wavelength. When you stabilize on appreciation and confidence, higher frequency signals become visible. Opportunities appear more clearly. Synchronicities stand out. Patterns that previously went unnoticed now register effortlessly. Tune the station. Consider mornings when you feel aligned. People seem kinder. Tasks flow smoothly. Solutions emerge before problems fully form. That is frequency operating as signal filter. Conversely, agitation, fear, or scattered thought mutes clarity. The world reflects internal signal strength. Tune the station. Gratitude is the amplifier. Small acknowledgments of progress raise baseline frequency. Appreciation for what already exists signals readiness for more. It is not superficial positivity. It is internal calibration. The nervous system responds. Tune the station. Certainty functions as a lens. When you know internally that the outcome is unfolding, hesitation diminishes. Doubts fade. Perception sharpens. Patterns, previously subtle, begin to repeat with clarity. The universe mirrors expectation. Tune the station. Your attention is your tool. Where focus goes, energy flows. Observing scarcity strengthens scarcity. Observing abundance strengthens abundance. Internal resonance becomes external reality. The law of resonance operates silently, yet precisely. Tune the station. Examples abound. A student seeking knowledge notices the right mentor suddenly appearing. A business owner seeking ideal clients observes unexpected inquiries. A creative seeking inspiration encounters repeated motifs. These occurrences are not random. They are response to tuned attention. Tune the station. Repetition reinforces calibration. Signals amplify when the same ideas, images, or opportunities appear multiple times. The nervous system recognizes patterns as confirmation. Awareness grows. Internal alignment deepens. Tune the station. Shifts are both subtle and measurable. The same individual, aligned on high-frequency vibration, experiences less friction in daily tasks. Decisions are clearer. Energy is more sustainable. Emotional responses stabilize. Life feels expansive rather than constrained. Tune the station. Gratitude anchors the frequency. By appreciating even minor alignments, the body signals, I am ready to receive more. This primes external circumstances to match. The universe responds, not randomly, but consistently. Tune the station. Certainty maintains coherence. The nervous system resists contradictory signals. Confusion dilutes manifestation. When clarity is stabilized, the body relaxes and external reality aligns faster. You experience acceleration of results naturally. Tune the station. The frequency shift is not about forcing outcomes. It is about aligning to receive what is already in resonance with your vibration. The law is simple. Higher frequency perception attracts higher frequency evidence. Lower frequency perception filters out opportunity. Tune the station. Consider relationships. When you embody trust, patience, and clarity, interactions reflect cooperation. Misalignment manifests as misunderstanding. Signals arrive in accordance with your vibration. Your internal state broadcasts before action occurs externally. Tune the station. Even physical environments respond. When attention is stabilized, obstacles reduce. Circumstances streamline. Subtle support systems emerge naturally. Coincidences multiply into synchronicities. The mirror of reality becomes responsive. Tune the station. The frequency shift also explains why some efforts fail despite apparent action. The work may be consistent, yet the internal signal remains scattered. Manifestation stalls because the station is misaligned. Focus, certainty, and gratitude correct this. Tune the station. Daily practice embeds this principle. Observe repeated themes. Note emotional reactions. Redirect focus consciously toward high-frequency alignment. Allow the nervous system to habituate to the elevated state. Tune the station. This is the bridge between intention and manifestation. Thought initiates. Emotion amplifies. Attention tunes. Frequency stabilizes. External reality reflects. Tune the station. The universe responds not to desire alone, but to clarity of signal. Calibration of frequency accelerates the appearance of aligned circumstances. Every step becomes guided rather than forced. Tune the station. Now that you have shifted your frequency, the next principle reveals how challenges are not obstacles, but deliberate trainers preparing you for the next level. Chapter 12. The Invisible Ceiling. Every life has invisible boundaries. Your ceiling is psychological. These limits feel external, imposed by circumstance, society, or others. Yet the true restriction resides within. Beliefs, fears, and unexamined assumptions establish a plateau. Until recognized, progress halts at these subtle barriers. Your ceiling is psychological. The upper limit is a self-imposed safety mechanism. It protects identity from overstretching. The nervous system favors familiarity. Comfort zones are enforced subconsciously. Expansion beyond them triggers tension, anxiety, and resistance. The body signals, do not exceed this level. Your ceiling is psychological. Imagine someone achieving rapid financial growth. Suddenly, small sabotage behaviors appear. Unconscious spending increases. Decisions slow. Fear emerges in subtle forms. These actions are the mind defending known territory. Temporary discomfort masks opportunity. The ceiling is not permanent. Recognition precedes dismantling. Awareness is the first step. When you identify the subconscious cap, the power of observation destabilizes it. Resistance softens. New space emerges. Your ceiling is psychological. Upper limits manifest in relationships, career, and creativity. You may stop seeking promotion subconsciously. You may avoid confrontation. You may self-censor ideas. Each represents a threshold imposed by internal safety wiring. Your ceiling is psychological. The process of breaking through requires deliberate recalibration. Begin by redefining what is normal. Adjust expectations upward. Introduce new habits that support expanded identity. The nervous system must habituate to elevated norms. Your ceiling is psychological. Emotional readiness is crucial. Fear signals when approaching previous limits. Physical tension, racing thoughts, or hesitation indicate the protective boundary. Instead of retreating, observe. Stay present. Allow the body to expand its definition of safety. Your ceiling is psychological. Examples abound. Athletes plateau when training intensity exceeds comfort. Entrepreneurs plateau when revenue exceeds previously imagined thresholds. Creatives plateau when recognition surpasses prior belief in their value. Each is responding to a psychological limit. Your ceiling is psychological. Dismantling the ceiling involves consistent exposure to the new frequency. Small steps beyond perceived maximum reinforce safety. Each success recalibrates identity. Repetition transforms resistance into confidence. Your ceiling is psychological. The mirror of reality reflects your new frequency. As identity adjusts upward, opportunities previously unseen become available. External circumstances shift to match the internal recalibration. The universe mirrors readiness. Your ceiling is psychological. Temporary discomfort is inevitable. Anxiety, self-doubt, and external friction appear. These are indicators that expansion is active. They are not reasons to stop. They are signs that growth is authentic. Your ceiling is psychological. Observe patterns that have repeated in your life. Areas of stagnation often mark ceilings. Repeated challenges, recurring blocks, and internal hesitation are clues. Conscious awareness destabilizes the limit. Your ceiling is psychological. The principle also explains why rapid breakthroughs feel intense. When the mind suddenly accepts a higher norm, the nervous system experiences recalibration. Fatigue, excitement, and tension accompany expansion. These sensations are temporary and necessary. Your ceiling is psychological. Integration requires embodiment. Habits, thought patterns, and emotional responses must match the new level. External confirmation follows internal alignment. Stability occurs when the body accepts the new frequency as safe. Your ceiling is psychological. Once dismantled, expansion accelerates. Previously unseen opportunities are now visible. Relationships improve, income stabilizes at higher levels, and creativity flows. The nervous system now allows what was once forbidden. Your ceiling is psychological. Remember, ceilings are never walls. They are guidelines. Temporary friction signals potential. Conscious identity recalibration converts ceiling into floor. Each step above the old boundary feels uncomfortable initially, but stabilizes with repetition. Your ceiling is psychological. Next, we explore the forces guiding these expansions, the unseen orchestration that aligns circumstances and accelerates outcomes. Chapter 13: The Collapse of Limitations. Limits are not innate. Limits are learned. Freedom is chosen. Most constraints exist because of inherited narratives. Family, culture, and societal expectations imprint rules on identity. Beliefs like money is scarce, love is conditional, or success comes at cost are adopted unconsciously. They operate quietly, governing choices, habits, and energy. Limits are learned. Freedom is chosen. Generational emotional contracts perpetuate restriction. You may feel compelled to honor patterns from parents, grandparents, or ancestors. Loyalty binds behavior unconsciously. Choices are filtered through agreements never consciously examined. Liberation requires acknowledgement and release. Limits are learned. Freedom is chosen. The collapse begins with awareness. Notice recurring cycles in your life. If the same obstacles appear across relationships, finances, or career, they are likely echoes of inherited limits. Recognition alone initiates transformation. Limits are learned. Freedom is chosen. Emotional inheritance is subtle but powerful. Anxiety, self-doubt, and hesitation often replicate the unresolved patterns of forebears. These emotions are not original. They are stored resonance passed down through family or culture. Disrupting these patterns dismantles structural boundaries. Limits are learned. Freedom is chosen. Consider beliefs around money. Perhaps scarcity has always dominated your lineage. Wealth appears only with struggle, then vanishes. These patterns are not coincidence. They are emotional contracts dictating safety and identity. Choosing abundance rewires the system. Limits are learned. Freedom is chosen. Breaking limitations requires conscious rewriting. Declare new rules internally. Rehearse new narratives through consistent action. Embody identity free from inherited restrictions. The nervous system must accept the novel possibility as safe. Limits are learned. Freedom is chosen. Resistance appears naturally. Family, culture, and even personal history may challenge expansion. People may unconsciously react to your liberation because it conflicts with established patterns. External friction is confirmation that transformation is authentic. Limits are learned. Freedom is chosen. Internal dialogue guides change. Observe self-talk. Criticism, hesitation, and internalized shoulds signal the old system is active. Replace them with affirmation, clarity, and unwavering commitment to freedom. Embodiment is key. Limits are learned. Freedom is chosen. This principle applies in health, career, and relationships. Chronic fatigue may be tied to ancestral stress. Career stagnation may echo inherited beliefs about limitation. Emotional dependency may reflect unresolved loyalty to family scripts. Awareness dismantles invisible chains. Limits are learned. Freedom is chosen. Freedom requires repeated practice. Each time you act beyond prior constraints, nervous system calibration occurs. New patterns solidify, old restrictions dissolve. The collapse is cumulative. One act of conscious expansion triggers others. Limits are learned. Freedom is chosen. Quantum mirror reinforces this process. The world reflects the shift. As internal restrictions dissolve, external circumstances align with freedom. Previously blocked opportunities become accessible. Resonance attracts congruent conditions. Limits are learned. Freedom is chosen. Temporary discomfort is inevitable. Nervous system habituation may feel chaotic. Old anxiety, fear, or resistance surfaces. This is the body recalibrating. Observing without retreat accelerates integration. Limits are learned. Freedom is chosen. Generational release is revolutionary. By collapsing limitations, you redefine the blueprint for descendants. Emotional contracts no longer dictate outcomes. You set a precedent of expansion. Limits are learned. Freedom is chosen. Identity expands into new territory. Beliefs, emotional patterns, and habitual behaviors reorganize to reflect freedom. External evidence follows the internal shift. Life responds to recalibrated expectation. Limits are learned. Freedom is chosen. The final step is conscious choice. Claim freedom repeatedly. Observe inherited limitations, dissolve them, and stabilize the new frequency. Integration completes the collapse. Limits are learned. Freedom is chosen. Once these boundaries collapse, the next chapter reveals the ultimate stage of mastery, tuning into life's signal with precision to co-create reality effortlessly. Chapter 14. The Decision Point. Transformation does not trickle in gradually. Decide once. Reinforce daily. The pivot occurs in a single moment of unshakable commitment. It is a microsecond when the mind, body, and spirit align fully behind a new reality. The shift is instantaneous because identity changes at the point of decision, not at the arrival of results. Waiting for evidence delays evolution. Decide once. Reinforce daily. Every major transformation in history began with this principle. Leaders, visionaries, and creators did not hesitate in action. They committed fully before the outcome existed externally. The nervous system recognized the decision as permanent and adjusted physiology, thought, and emotional response accordingly. Decide once. Reinforce daily. Consider personal change. Someone seeking higher income may take small steps daily, but the true breakthrough arrives when they decide internally. I am already abundant. External results then follow, reflecting the internal state. Identity is the catalyst. Circumstances are the reflection. Decide once. Reinforce daily. The decision point is often quiet, almost invisible. There is no fireworks or fanfare. It is felt as certainty, a deep, unwavering knowing that the new reality is already accepted. This moment carries more transformative power than months of effort without clarity. Decide once. Reinforce daily. Resistance is natural at the decision point. Old patterns, habits, and comfort zones protest. The mind may attempt rationalization. Maybe later. I'm not ready. Or what if it fails? Awareness of resistance confirms the magnitude of the shift. The microsecond of commitment overcomes hesitation. Decide once. Reinforce daily. Every decision radiates. When commitment is absolute, the body aligns. Posture, breathing, and emotional tone match the new frequency. Energy no longer vacillates. External reality begins to follow this internal signal almost immediately. Decide once. Reinforce daily. This principle is visible in athletic performance. Champions commit fully to training, visualization, and mindset. The decision to win is internal long before the scoreboard confirms it. Each subsequent choice aligns with this initial decision, creating unstoppable momentum. Decide once. Reinforce daily. The same applies to relationships. Choosing clarity, boundaries, and self-respect in one decisive instant shifts the trajectory of interactions. Behavior, communication, and attraction realign with this chosen identity. Micro-moments compound into macro change. Decide once. Reinforce daily. Daily reinforcement strengthens the nervous system. Micro-decisions throughout the day reaffirm the initial choice. Each repetition reduces friction and stabilizes identity. Over time, the decision becomes automatic, internalized, and unshakable. Decide once. Reinforce daily. This principle explains why many efforts fail. People commit partially, hesitate, or wait for results. The nervous system does not recognize conditional desire as legitimate. Transformation stalls until the single, full commitment occurs. Decide once. Reinforce daily. Even minor choices compound. Selecting one new thought, one aligned action, one behavioral adjustment with absolute commitment shifts frequency incrementally. These micro-decisions echo the original point of transformation. Decide once. Reinforce daily. The decision point is also liberating. You no longer chase outcomes or negotiate with probability. Action flows effortlessly because identity has already anchored the desired reality. Momentum follows naturally. Decide once. Reinforce daily. Every subsequent challenge becomes a test of reinforcement. Old resistance may reappear, circumstances may fluctuate, yet your internal commitment holds. Each reinforcement solidifies the new state until it is inseparable from identity. Decide once. Reinforce daily. The decision point connects all prior principles. Divine appointment, self-fulfilling prophecy, quantum mirror, emotional magnet, invisible ceiling, and frequency shift converge here. Identity stabilization enables manifestation, synchronicity, and collapse of external resistance. Decide once. Reinforce daily. The universe responds to clarity, precision, and unwavering commitment. Timing accelerates. Opportunities align perfectly. Resistance becomes manageable. External reality mirrors the inner decision instantly and repeatedly. Decide once. Reinforce daily. Your task is simple yet profound. Make the choice internally, embody it fully, and affirm it consistently. This is where transformation transitions from possibility to inevitability. Decide once. Reinforce daily. Next, we arrive at the final chapter, the culmination of all principles, where all systems converge, identity stabilizes, and manifestation becomes effortless. Chapter 15. Now the prophecy changes. Everything you have experienced has led to this moment. If this found you, it's because you're ready. The divine appointment, every synchronicity, every repeating pattern, and every reflection has prepared you to claim mastery over your reality. What once appeared random now reveals itself as precise orchestration. You have arrived at the threshold of conscious creation. Now it's your move. The self-fulfilling prophecy that once unconsciously dictated your life is no longer automatic. Every belief, every pattern, and every reaction is now open to conscious selection. You are choosing the narrative, rewriting expectation, and establishing a new trajectory with intention. If this found you, it's because you're ready. Consider the old patterns, the repeated obstacles, the recurring limitations, the inherited ceilings. They were not punishments, They were guidance. They showed you where identity needed recalibration, where alignment had been incomplete, and where frequency required adjustment. Now it's your move. You are not waiting for validation or permission. The universe has delivered signals of readiness. Opportunities, people, and circumstances have aligned to catalyze this evolution. Every micro-moment of synchronicity has been a nudge toward conscious mastery. If this found you, it's because you're ready. The quantum mirror reflects this shift immediately. When you hold clarity, embody the desired frequency, and act from inevitability, the external world reorganizes to match. Your next self-fulfilling prophecy is under your direct authorship. Now it's your move. Every previous limitation, the invisible ceiling, inherited narratives, and identity collapse becomes irrelevant. The nervous system is primed. Emotional alignment is stable. Frequency is calibrated. The external world responds with precision. If this found you, it's because you're ready. You can now assume the end, tune the station, hold the emotional magnet, and reinforce the decision point. You can operate with full awareness of the invisible plots, guardians, and patterns that were once unconscious. The rules of manifestation are no longer mysterious. Now it's your move. The divine appointment was the catalyst. Every signal, every lesson, every reflection converged to this precise juncture. You were guided to this knowledge because your frequency, readiness, and identity demanded it. The universe met you exactly where you are prepared to receive. If this found you, it's because you're ready. This is not theoretical. It is practical. Every action, every thought, and every emotion from this point forward is an active choice. You now consciously select your experiences, relationships, achievements, and abundance. The prophecy is yours to write, and it obeys the frequency you hold. Now it's your move. The power is in embodiment. Consistency stabilizes identity. Repetition strengthens alignment. Observation sharpens awareness. Integration ensures mastery. You are now both the creator and the interpreter of your life. If this found you, it's because you're ready. There is no waiting. There is no later. The signals are clear. The evidence is present. You have the tools, the understanding, and the frequency to step fully into the reality you are designed to inhabit. Now it's your move. Everything you have learned, the law of resonance, the quantum mirror, emotional magnet, frequency shift, invisible ceiling, collapsing limitations, decision point, converges here. Your internal state dictates external alignment. Your choice manifests as inevitability. If this found you, it's because you're ready. This moment is your turning point. The prophecy no longer unfolds passively. You are now the author. You are now the force. You are now the frequency. You are now the manifestation. Now it's your move. Step forward with certainty. Act with clarity. Align with inevitability. Observe patterns as guidance. Integrate lessons without hesitation. Hold the frequency, embody identity, and trust orchestration. If this found you, it's because you're ready. The universe mirrors the choice. Every opportunity, every synchronicity, every alignment responds immediately to your calibrated frequency. Your new self-fulfilling prophecy is already in motion. Now it's your move. You are no longer the observer of your life. You are the conscious creator. You are the stabilized identity acting from inevitability. You are the manifestation of all the preparation, all the signals, and all the divine appointments that have led to this precise moment. If this found you, it's because you're ready. Step into the frequency. Own your identity. Command your reality. The next chapter is not written by chance. It is authored by you now. Now it's your move. The cycle is complete. The lesson is absorbed. The path is visible. The prophecy has changed. If this found you, it's because you're ready. Now it's your move. In closing, listen carefully. 2 hours ago, you were operating inside an unconscious prophecy. Now you are awake. You understand the divine appointment. You recognize the guardian at the threshold. You see how time collapses when identity shifts. You hear the language of the universe in patterns and repetition. But most importantly, you now know the hidden switch. Inner permission. You have been waiting for circumstances to approve you. But it was never external. It was internal authorization. And now you know. When you assume differently, reality reorganizes. When you feel safe at the next level, life stabilizes there. When you move like it's done, time collapses to meet you. This was not just information. This was initiation. If this book found you, it is because the old timeline expired. You are not becoming someone new. You are remembering who you authorized yourself to be. So here is the challenge. Choose your new prophecy right now. Choose the identity. Choose the assumption. Choose the permission. And from this moment forward, walk like it's inevitable. Because it is. The frequency has shifted. The timeline has collapsed. The universe has responded. Now move. It's your turn.